Aria took one look at the citation, took the phone off the prep counter, and made one call. Not her father, a number she had not called in 2 years, labeled MOM.
Mum, I need a favor. Yes, now. It's about a food truck on Sunset. Yes, that one. Howard's friend is trying to crush it.
She listened.
I know. Yes, I know what it means. Just do it.
She hung up.
Give it 20 minutes.
23 minutes later, the inspector returned. Different inspector. Older, calmer, the gravity of a woman who had been in the department 30 years. She tore up the original citation in front of Marcus, wrote a new one with 0 violations, and said,
"There was a clerical error. Have a good day."
And left. Aria did not explain. Marcus did not ask. He stood with his hands on the prep counter, knuckles white. Aria looked up at him with no makeup on, in a hoodie she had borrowed from him.
Are you going to say something?
Marcus stepped around the prep counter. Aria stepped back instinctively until her back was against the painted blue side of the truck, the stenciled fat orange cat exactly behind her head. He put one hand on the panel beside her face. She tipped her chin up. He kissed her. Aria made a small sound he would remember for the rest of his life and pulled him in by his bandaged hand. When they broke apart, the orange cat on the dashboard was making the unmistakable, dignified sound of pretending he had seen nothing and failing.
Mon Dieu. If she does not take Damien's safe apart in 12 days, I will eat my own tail.
Marcus woke up at dawn in the back compartment of Nana's wagon, with Aria Sterling asleep on his chest and a fat orange cat sitting on Aria's chest, glaring at him with the focused, prophetic disdain of a French oracle.
Brisket.
The cat did not move. Aria did not wake.
Marcus, we have a problem. She has to leave by sundown.
Aria woke. She did not move. Her eyes were open, looking at Marcus's chin from very close, and she had not jumped at the sound, because she had not, as far as her brain was concerned, heard a sound.
Aria, did you hear something just now?
I think the cat just spoke.
Marcus stopped breathing. The cat stopped breathing. Then Aria smiled. Weirdest dream. Cat told me to leave by sundown. French accent. She rubbed her eye. Why is he staring at me like that? Brisket did not move.
He likes you.
She smiled at the cat. The cat narrowed his eyes by a single, slow degree. Aria got up to make coffee. The moment her back was turned, Brisket whipped his head toward Marcus and hissed in a tone so low only Marcus could hear.
She heard me. She heard a word. The curse is slipping, Marcus. The kitchen spirit can hear it slip too, wherever he is. We have weeks, maybe days.
Marcus stared at him.
She's not leaving.
The cat closed his eyes slowly, the way a man accepts a sentence.
Then you have just shortened my life, imbecile.
He coughed once. A single drop of bright red chili oil landed on Marcus's collarbone. Marcus did not look down. He had been waiting for the next drop for 2 days. He had been hoping he had imagined the first one. He had not. In Marcus's head, small, unbidden, 22 years old, his grandmother said, "Me, Joe, food remembers." Brisket opened one eye.
There. Now you are starting to hear her. About time.
Aria, leaning against the prep counter with both hands wrapped around the coffee cup, watched Marcus pretend not to flinch every time the cat moved.
Marcus, why are you weird with the cat?
I'm not weird with the cat.
You apologized to him on your way to the bathroom.
He had a hard week.
She narrowed her eyes, set down the coffee, walked to where Marcus's wallet was lying on the prep counter, the leather one his grandmother had given him at 16, picked it up.
Aria, don't.
She opened it, did not look for money, looked for the small pocket on the inside flap, where Marcus's grandmother had taught him to keep one folded piece of paper at all times, for emergencies, for memory. She unfolded the paper, a black and white photograph, cracked at the corners, smelling like Marcus's grandmother. A Paris kitchen, 1,923 wood-fired oven, copper pans on the wall, a man in white chef's whites at the cutting board, with his sleeves rolled, smiling at the camera. On the kitchen counter beside the man, with his belly hanging over the edge of the wood, sat an enormous orange cat. She looked at it a long time, looked up at Marcus, looked at Brisket on the dashboard, looked back at the photograph. Brisket did not move. Marcus, she said slowly, why does this cat from 1923 look exactly like your cat? Marcus opened his mouth. He could not think of a single word.
Marcus.
Brisket, behind her, said quietly only to Marcus,
Tell her nothing. Or tell her everything. Choose now, imbecile.
Marcus took a breath. He turned to Aria. He opened his mouth. That was when the smell hit them sharp, faintly skunked, unmistakable. Propane. The truck was leaking. Marcus did not get the chance to choose. Everybody out. Aria was already out. Pilar, back for the dinner shift, grabbed Brisket off the dashboard and bolted onto the sidewalk. Marcus went under the truck on his back with his phone flashlight. Reese was already under there. On his back too, halfway under the chassis, holding wire cutters, looking up at the gas line with the focus of a man who had been there for 10 minutes. The line was half severed. Reese saw Marcus's flashlight. He smiled a slack, drunk at 3 Prime smile. Should have sold to Damien, ramen boy. Marcus grabbed him by the collar and hauled him out from under the truck onto the sidewalk in front of the line of customers, who reacted exactly like a line of 200 Angelinos with phones they filmed. Reese laughed. Marcus said nothing. He walked to the truck, picked up Brisket from Pilar's arms. The cat had been twitching, breathing too fast for 90 minutes, set him on the prep counter, started to inspect him. The cat coughed. A single perfect spot of bright arterial blood landed on the white cutting board. The cat coughed again. A second spot beside the first. Marcus went perfectly still. Behind him on the sidewalk, Reese, drunk, sprawled, eyes wet, kept talking, loud. The kind of loud drunk people get when they want to be overheard by everyone except the person they should be confessing to. You don't even know what Damien hired me for. He doesn't want your truck, ramen boy. He doesn't want your truck. He wants... Marcus turned his head. He wants your cat dead. Ask him why. Ask him why a billionaire chef wants a cat dead. Aria froze on the sidewalk. Marcus looked down at Brisket on the cutting board. Brisket looked up at Marcus with the most awake yellow eyes Marcus had ever seen on him, and the most afraid. Aria drove the broken food truck in silence, but tears were running freely down her face. She made no attempt to wipe them. She had heard everything the drunk saboteur screamed on the sidewalk. There was no longer any question.
Marcus, whatever happens, do not stop cooking. The kitchen is the only thing that keeps me anchored here. The minute you stop, I stop. Promise me.
I promise you.
At the clinic, Dr. Sally Cho took one look at the shivering cat under the surgical lamp, listened to his chest for 90 seconds, and put down her stethoscope.
This is not a normal cat. His tissue is not constructed like a cat's. His blood does not behave like cat blood. He has weeks. Find the person who knows what this animal is.
In the parking lot, under dimming light, Marcus's phone suddenly buzzed. A text message from a number he did not recognize.
It is from Henry Park. He says, I knew your grandmother. Come tonight. I have been waiting 50 years.
If the billionaire wants this cat dead, then this cat has something Damien wants buried forever. Don't argue with me. Just drive. I have a plan.
At 10 o'clock that night, Henry Park knocked on Marcus's apartment door, holding a small carved walnut box. He took one look at the dying orange cat on the couch, and his eyes filled with tears silently.
Hello, old friend.
Henry opened the box and placed 3 velvet-wrapped photographs on the table. He picked up the first one. It was taken in 1968.
Your grandmother told me in 1969 that she had a cat who spoke to her in French. I have spent 50 years coming back to this neighborhood just in case.
Marcus turned the photograph over. Sitting on his grandmother's counter was an enormous orange tabby, notched left ear, missing white fur at the throat, exact yellow eyes.
It is the exact same cat.
Mr. Park, have you ever heard the name Hugo Voss?
Hugo Voss was a sous chef at the Saint-Régis in Paris. He fled France right after the executive chef was cursed. I always suspected he stole something.
Because Damien Voss is his great-grandson. And I am about to walk directly into the Voss family safe in Marseille to find out exactly what Hugo stole.
Marcus sat on the floor with the photograph in one hand, completely paralyzed. Aria watched him with both hands pressed against her mouth. Then, from the couch, the cat slowly lifted his head.
Henry, you are inexcusably late.
Henry made a small sound, half laugh, half sob, and pressed a silk pocket square to his face.
You did your part, Henry. You held the door open. Now we have work to do. My true name was Auguste Lamont. I was the executive chef of a grand hotel in Paris until 1924. For 102 years, I have been trapped inside this animal. And you, my dear, when you walk into Damien Voss's life next week, pretending to be the woman who is going to marry him, do not flinch when he tries to kiss you. He is the kind of man who confirms a deadly deal by tasting it.
Aria did not flinch. She just stared at the talking cat with absolute terrifying resolve.
When do I leave, Auguste?
Tomorrow morning, wear something cream.
Auguste Lamont spoke for the next 40 minutes from the couch, in the same low French-accented voice the whole room could now hear, while the orange cat's body grew smaller under the blanket. Marcus heard about Paris in 1923, about a kitchen that smelled like smoked thyme, about a woman who came to the back door of the Saint-Régis at 4 in the morning with no entourage because she wanted to learn how to make a tarte tatin. From the chef her father's enemies were not allowed to know existed. He heard about Anastasia, 21, sharp-eyed, the youngest of a deposed Russian house in hiding in Paris, fluent in 4 languages and contemptuous of all of them. He heard about the night she died, a state dinner Auguste had been ordered to cook for the man who had hunted her family across 2 continents, about how she had walked into the kitchen at midnight and told him she would be in the dining room as a guest, under a false name, about how she had eaten his food, about how she had begun to choke 6 minutes after her dessert on something she had not been served from his kitchen, about how Auguste had served the meal perfectly anyway, about how a presence had come into the kitchen that night, old, vast, neither evil nor kind, and judged him. It said one thing, Brisket whispered. You cooked for a man you should have poisoned. You will cook for no one again, unless they teach you why food is for. And then, I was a cat. Marcus felt Aria's hand find his. Brisket said quietly, I have weeks left, Marcus, and tomorrow morning Aria is going to do something none of us are going to like. He looked at her. You will eat well in Marseille, ma chère. The Voss family restaurant has, despite everything, a passable bouillabaisse. Order it on a Tuesday. Aria, after a long moment, smiled. Yes, chef.